Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about absolute value and what absolute value represents. So absolute value. Absolute value, basically, it's very easy. It tells you how far you are away from zero. So we have zero down here, and we just talked about how far the number is away from zero again. So if I have a number in absolute value, that's what those two lines for, this line and this line, is the absolute value of 5. So what's the absolute value of 5? Well, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps, and it's 5 places away from 0. So the absolute value of 5 is 5 itself. Very easy. So let's say we have a negative, though. So what's the absolute value? Let's do another one. Of negative 2. So we go to negative 2, and we go 1, 2, 2 hops to 0. So it's 2. The absolute value is 2. It's not negative 2. It's just 2. It's how far it is away from 0. All right, another one. So if I have, and without even using the number line, if I have negative 100, the absolute value of negative 100 is simply 100. If I said to you, what is the absolute value of 50? So the absolute value of 50 is 50. That's it. It's pretty basic. A couple other things that we're going to need to know is this. If we need to compare numbers that have absolute value. So, for example, if I have absolute value of negative 30, and I want to compare it to the absolute value of negative 25, we need to remember that it's how far it's away from 0. So absolute value of negative 30 is just 30. The absolute value of negative 25 is 25. And you say 30 is bigger. So the absolute value of negative 30 is bigger than the absolute value of negative 25. A couple more of these. So if I have 15, the absolute value of 15, or the absolute value of negative 20. Okay, so which one would be bigger? Well, this, absolute value of 15 is 15. The absolute value of negative 20 is 20. So the absolute value of negative 20 is actually bigger. So it would look like that. So 15, absolute value of 15 is less than the absolute value of negative 20. The reason why, because the absolute value of negative 20 is 20 itself. A couple other ones. The absolute value of negative 10 versus the absolute value of, let's just make it 10. So what would happen here? Well, this absolute value of negative 10 is 10. The absolute value of 10 is 10. So the answer is equal to. They're equal to each other. Okay, now let's say you had addition or subtraction problems with absolute value. So if I had absolute value of negative 5 plus the absolute value of 5, and I want to know what that equals, it's just absolute value of negative 5 is 5 plus 5, because that's what the absolute value of 5 is, and it's 10. So if I had, we could do multiplication, division too. So if I had negative 20, absolute value of negative 20, times absolute value of negative 10, the answer is going to be absolute value of negative 20 is 20, times absolute value of negative 10 is 10. So the answer is 200. Okay, just know that the absolute value really is just how far it's away from 0. So if you see negative 20 for absolute value, just think 20. If you see a regular 20 absolute value, just again, think 20.